and the undefeateds are looking to stay perfect. Jacksonville's tenacious D put to a titan task. Is upstart Detroit really ready for the big time, or is Philly just too good? Vic and the Falcons should easily sort a 3-0 against the Cards, right? Maybe not. While Seattle hosts the struggling Niners in the Seahawks home opener. And what about the winless, the Chiefs in Texas? Wild last-second finish in KC. And two of the game's best gunslingers shoot it out in Indianapolis. All coming up next on NFL Primetime.
Primetime is presented by Miller Lite. Primetime is Miller time. And now, here's your host, Chris Berman.
Hello once again, everybody, and welcome to Week 3 of NFL Primetime. The first is Sunday of the fall. With me, as always, for 18 years is Tom Jackson. At Tom, we started 7 2-0s, 7 0-2s. Some definition.
Well, we said it. We're getting more separation between those top-tier teams
already
and the lower-tier teams in 3 weeks. 3 weeks into the season, we're already starting to see it.
You know what else I was interested in? There were a couple of games, a couple of teams playing their first big game in a while. There'll be a couple of 2-0 teams like Detroit and Jacksonville, and in some ways, Carson Palmer, 1-1 with Cincinnati. Here we go. The Bengals, with everybody in this division, the AFC North, including Baltimore with Ray Lewis and Jamal Lewis at 1-1. But on this day, Baltimore showed why they were the defending champs. Look at Jamal Lewis. Hadn't had 100 the first 2 games of the year. Think that was going to continue? I think not. 32 yards, field goal, Baltimore. Ravens, Kyle Bowler. Well, he's learning on the job, but he learned when to take off, and touchdowns. 10-0 Baltimore. Take another look. Some good blocking here, Baltimore.
Yeah, the fullback, Alan Ricard, his job to knock people off, get people to the end zone. Great job right there of blocking out 2 Bengals to help Kyle Bowler go in untouched.
And then Jamal Lewis, who at every time he played the Bengals 6 times before that, gotten 100 yards. But this time he takes the dump pass, gets a block, and then motors around. And look at the big fella run. And escapes another tackle, and wow, 46 yards on a little screen pass.
Double take on this one as well. Watch the block. Alan Ricard going to spring him for the last 30 of this run. Gets him to the outside. Jamal Lewis does the rest.
How would Carson Palmer perform? Well, yards-wise, okay, but boy, did Baltimore make it rough on him, especially their outstanding safety, Ed Reed. Reed read Palmer like a book. And then later on, it's Reed again with the score 17-6. The Bengals still in it early 4th. 3 picks today by the Ravens of Palmer. And then, in case you didn't think it was done, Nolo Contandre, Jamal Lewis against the Bengals. He could go all the way. 75 yards. Jamal Lewis immense, ran for 186. Caught more balls, and again, a 100-yard game for him against the Bengals. Meanwhile, the defense, in addition to the 3 picks, pitched in 4 sacks, 2 of them by Terrell Suggs, and the Ravens go into Cincinnati, where they did not win last year, and win impressively by the count of 23-9. And in this game, we now know that Jamal Lewis, we told you, 7 for 7 consecutive 100-yard games against the Bengals. And that ties Terrell Davis, who did it often against the Seahawks when they're in the same division and the same conference. Look, Baltimore may lack a couple things on offense, but they certainly don't lack a knock-em, sock-em running back. But they were just going to make the life for Carson Palmer just very difficult. And they get a lead, and they were going to suffocate him, but they do other things as well.
Well, defensively, they know that once they run the football, if they run it, they pressure you to try to score. And every team has staple plays. And for this Ravens team, their staple is the lead block with Ricard, and they cut it off a couple of the best blockers, one underrated, one not in the league. This is going to be the lead block by Alan Ricard. Off the backside, Edwin Mulatalo and Jonathan Ogden, a perennial All-Pro. They form the cutback seal for him to find. You see him look for it right away. Should go to the 6 hole. This time he finds it up the middle. Again, it's a cutback play that allows him to get out. And once he does, he has extraordinary speed for a big guy. Third play, watch it again. Left side, Ogden, Mulatalo. The play's going to start. Ricard with the lead block. You see him just looking for that daylight. If he finds it off that backside or off the middle, you see him begin the cutback lane. And when he gets going, he's one of these guys, I think, that the classic running back. When he begins to run and has some success, he gets stronger and stronger as the game goes on. The 75-yard run actually comes later in the football game as you have worn down and he has not.
You know what he's like? The middle linebacker, the great middle linebacker, which they have, Ray Lewis, because I think he punishes the defenders who get in his way more than they could possibly punish him. And that's the formula. The Ravens using it, and they win for the second time in 3 starts. When we return, Mike Vick off a 100-yard rushing game. Could the Falcons stay undefeated and go to 3-0 for the first time since the mid-'80s? The Tennessee Titans, off a loss last week, now have 2-0 Jacksonville in their house where they always beat them. How would Steve McNair do? And a battle of master against master. This game just tremendous. Brett Favre, Peyton Manning lighting up the board.
NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite. Grab yourself a great-tasting low-carb Miller Lite. And in part by UPS. Global shipping you can count on. UPS. What can Brown do for you? And the Toyota 4Runner Ultimate Fan Package. Now on eBay. Come back to NFL Primetime. Presented by Miller Lite.
Well, the Atlanta Falcons had not been 3-0 since 1986. And into town came Arizona. Certainly this would be easy, right? Well, that's why they play the games, even though Arizona has a long losing streak on the road. And here we go. At the Falcons, Mike Vick looking to lead the Falcons to a 3-0 start. And with a score that Josh Tears of McCown loses the ball as he did all day. Ed Jasper, the friendly ghost, falls on it for Atlanta. McCown, that's his second fumble. So in the third quarter, it's a 6-0 Atlanta lead. Vick play fake. Calvin Pace pacing himself nicely. And the fumble, Vick gives the ball right back. Still 6-0 in this game, Tom, in the fourth quarter. So Arizona has a chance. Tears of McCown. Brady Smith, who had the touchdown last week, forces another fumble.
Yeah, Brady Smith's circle coming from the backside, doesn't get touched, and you as a quarterback, boy, you got to know that clock in your head, the time's running out, get rid of the football, and again, ball out.
So in the red zone, another turnover. Off the turnover, Vick, and guess what? It's Arizona. Says, wait a minute, we want to win this thing. Adrian Wilson with a pick, and so defense gives Arizona another chance. Now, McCown on the sideline. And Sean King, the former Tampa Bay Buck, hit at quarterback. 3rd and 3 at the 47. King, oh man, drilled by Patrick Kearney. And now with the score 6-3 with 2.5 to go. Here they go, the end around to Carl the Truth Williams. First down, but it's a fumble. Oh man, Arizona's fumbled 4 times. Next drive, just before the 2-minute warning, Vick. And this is what he can do, Tom. And then, whoop! And then look at the speed, gets a block right there, and what? Goes back toward the middle, hits over the 40, and then, well, he runs them out of any serious danger. 58-yard run. It's not the most scintillating victory in Atlanta Falcon history, but 3-0 for the first time in a long, long while, 86. And Atlanta beats Arizona 6-3, despite the fact that Arizona sacked Vick 5 straight times. There were 9 fumbles in the game, 7 turnovers all told, 5 plays reviewed. There were no touchdowns. Not exactly one that you put in the time ball, but Arizona's losing streak now 15.
Yeah, you take the win, boo.
Yes, you do, and you're 3-0. You don't have to apologize. Browns at G-Men. And on the 8-yard line, the Giants in business at home. Tiki Bear, Tiki Barber, and he'll run to the corner. And did he get in? They call it a touchdown, Tom.
Well, it's a touchdown because the official said, but if you can look right there, the knee is down, the ball's not yet across. We take 2 different looks at it, but you get that call by the official, it's a touchdown.
106 yards running for Tiki. Jeff Garcia sacked. Michael Strahan arrived early in the pocket and made the sack. Then, same drive for the Browns, William Green. Oh, Strahan hurt on this play, and so he's going to be looked at on the sideline. At the same drive, Strahan back in, and he got the memo. 5 minutes early during a fumble, and he falls on it. Strahan, 2 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, and a new watch. Third quarter, Giants driving. Kurt Warner to very well-dressed. Oh, man, it's a Monty Toomer diving catch. A perfect toss and a perfect catch. Then, 2nd and goal. Watch Warner here This is Kurt Warner with one career rushing touchdown. Boom, make it two. It looked close, but first, one thing, I like the way he switched the ball to left hand.
He switched the ball to get it as close as he could to the goal line. An outstanding run by Kurt Warner.
It was close, but he was in. It put it the pylon 20-3 Giants. Garcia to Quincy Morgan, Gabriel Wilson nailed for a personal foul on the hit. But the Giants at home for Tom Coughlin beat the Browns 27-10. Kurt Warner threw for 286 yards. We told you about Strahan's day. They had 4 sacks. All told, the Giants, well, restoring some old roar. Wasn't quite Sam Huff bottling up Jim Brown. But look, Kurt Warner hadn't won in 3 years. He's now won 2 straight weeks,
correct.
Tom, and no picks. Maybe there's he needed a change of scenery after all.
A couple of things. He's being careful with the football. I think that anything that was wrong with his hand has had a chance to heal up. He's got the tight spiral back, the presence on the field. He's showing great leadership with this ball club. And I think that when we thought initially, boy, Eli Manning is going to secure the spot in this lineup at some point this year, Kurt Warner basically brought in as a Band-Aid for this offense. But if he continues to play the way he's playing now, you're going to have an awful hard time pulling him out of the lineup. And then the other thing, the 5-minute rule. We have fun with it. But Tom Coughlin came in to discipline this ball club. Right. You look like a more disciplined professional ball club, and you now have won 2 straight. Take the wins. Show up 5 minutes early. Do what the coach says.
You know what? They lost every game the last half of the season last year. They're winning now, whatever it takes. The Giants look like a ball club. They look like a ball club. When we return, Priest Holmes with the Chiefs look like a ball club. Offensively and defensively, battle of 0-2s against Houston. A must-win for Kansas City. Team with a 13-3 record last year. And Randy Moss, off of Monday night's disappointment. How would he do in the divisional rivalry against the Bears?
Inside the Numbers. Brought to you by Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. Get ready for the game.
Dick, well, this is the Kansas City Chiefs defense, who after winning 9 straight games last year, this includes the playoff loss to Indianapolis, now 4-6. And they allow almost 200 yards rushing a game. They allow close to 30 points a game. It puts a lot of pressure on your offense. Dick Vermeil and the Chiefs trying to avoid an 0-3 start. First one for that franchise, if it happens, since 1980. Marv Levy, young Marv Levy head coach. Trent Green, Chris Horn, his first TD with Chiefs. And the Chiefs lead Houston also 0-2, 14-6 early third quarter. Then Trent Green. So now it's like the salad days. I know we didn't score much in the first half, but Green to Tony Gonzalez. First down, 3rd and 7. Trent Green. Plenty of time to Giannis Morton inside the penalty kick area, just short of the goal line, down at the 2, but on 2nd and goal, about to go up 2 touchdowns, the floater, Marcus Coleman picks it off, and he could go all the way. That would be 102 yards on the interception return. Game now on, and despite the great effort by Priest Holmes at the end, Tom, 102 yards.
Yeah, and take another look. You can see the linebacker on Gonzalez, and he's going to see him beat the linebacker. He doesn't see Marcus Coleman fading to the outside, and what a great pick and a timely pick for Marcus Coleman.
And they get the 2-point conversion. It's 14-0 early fourth. Priest Holmes. This is what he does. Up the middle, 134 yards, and he passes the Nigerian nightman. Christian Okoye has the all-time leading rusher in franchise history. Trent Green, Jason Dunn in the end zone. Well done. 21-14. Now under 7 minutes to go. David Carr. Watch this catch by Andre Johnson. Are you kidding me? Take another look by the second-year wideout.
Well, you need a lot of skill and a little bit of luck, and Mr. Johnson's going to get both. Going over the top, just reaching back behind him. Ball sits right in his lap, has the presence of mind to cradle it in.
And now, 2nd and goal. It's a 9-yard loop to Jabbar Gaffney, usually known for the skyhook. This time it's a touchdown. We're tied at 21. And the Texans, with a minute to go, it's Carr to Derek Armstrong. Come on, Kansas City, play some defense. You're an Arrowhead. He loses the ball, but guess what? That's the
down.
ball.
He was down.
So, he's down. 7 seconds to go. A 49-yard attempt. Dick Vermeil can't look. Neither can Carr. Neither can the Texans. Chris Brown, 49 yards. Good. And the Houston Texans have come into Arrowhead where in the regular season the Chiefs were undefeated last year. What a win for this young team. What a drive by Carr and company, a couple of them. And what a stunning loss for the Chiefs. 24-21. And Kansas City, which won the first 9 games last year, has now started this year 0-3. And, all of a sudden, we talked about a lot of the problems this morning. Now, of course, in crunch time, the defense did not clamp down. But look, when you're relying on 30 points a game
and that's
to score, Tom, and now they get 21. That's a narrow line to walk, and they're not walking.
We talked this morning on Countdown about the addressing of or not addressing of personnel on the defensive side of the ball. Think about the way they won last year. They scored those 30-plus points that Boom is talking about, and that's how they got the 9-game winning streak going. They also had contributions from Dante Hall in terms of special teams. When those things don't happen, this is the situation that you find yourself in. And I don't like the idea that Tony Gonzalez and Priest Holmes are your best wide receivers. I think that you have to have people who can make things happen at the wide receiver position when everything in this league has been designed for you to score. And I think all of those things visible, including the sloppy defense at the end of the football game.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best defensive ever point-wise. 86 points now allowed in 3 games, and you're right. Bullrichter got hurt, but I mean, all of a sudden, things completely different in Kansas City, and they're going to be scratching their heads because they go, next Monday night to Baltimore? It'll be tough to score on them. No, we shall see. When we return on this edition of NFL Primetime, Mark Bulger, Rams, at home against the Saints. These teams always light up the scoreboard. And T.O. and the 2-0 Eagles at the 2-0 Detroit Lions, who would salute. Visa Skycam getting you set for the late afternoon local start. In Oakland, our Sunday night game, the Tampa Bay Bucks and Coach John Gruden back in Oakland. They got their yay. Saints at the Rams. They used to be in the same division, and in 5 games between Mike Martz's Rams and Jim Haslett's Saints, they lit up the scoreboard, averaging more than 50 points a game. Deuce, no use. McAllister sitting out. Mark Bulger. If I only had a great receiver like Torrey Holt. 7-0, the Rams. 10-3 in the second quarter. Hand off to Aaron Schwarzenegger. He's in there instead of Deuce, and look at him run. It's tied at 10. And then in the fourth quarter, with the score 17-16 with 10 minutes left, Aaron Brooks, Jerome Pathon. What a seam pass, Tom. 38 yards inside the 10. Now it's second and goal at the 9. Brooks. To Joe Horn. He dials it in somehow. Touchdown.
Outstanding concentration by Horn, but you're going to see something you won't see often. That's Aeneas Williams, future Hall of Famer, letting the ball go through his hands.
And now under 2 minutes to go. Mark Bulger, can he lead the Rams? They're down 22-17. That's Dane Looker. Good looking play for a first down. Bulger to Isaac Bruce. And then, with 36 seconds to go, if I only ran up the middle of the field for the winning touchdown. They get in there, 19-yard run. They get it. 2-point conversion. Mike Martz. They've won it. 25-22. But with the beer man back there, we're going to squib it. And then Will Smith up past the 40-yard line. And then here comes Brooks. So the squib kicks allows the Saints to be in position. There's the beer man receiving. Michael Lewis, 25 yards. John Connie getting ready. Brooks to Boo Williams down to the 20. Setting up with seconds left. John Carney, 38 yards. Good. We're tied at 25. We're going to overtime. Rams win toss. Go for it on 4th and 1. Make it, but eventually have to punt. Then Brooks to Williams, 17 yards. Then John Connie. Sheila McRae, Audrey Meadows. Good night, everybody. It's good. And Carney's 2 field goals give the Saints a win at the Rams. 28-25 in OT. What is going on in the Show Me State? Kansas City and St. Louis, regular season, both undefeated at home. Both of them have lost these games at home. It's a tough day on I-70, Tommy. And the Rams scratching their heads.
Yeah, and they will be for a while. You know, this team, again, they score points. They play all right defense. There's something wrong when it comes to finishing the job, especially at home.
Well, Bolger threw for 358. They also had, but they allowed 5 sacks. And so, we talked about some of those teams playing their first big games. Byron Leftwich, quarterback Jacksonville. Jacksonville Jaguars, 2-0. Going into Tennessee, who last week lost to the Colts after they had a chance to put them away. So the Titans figuring, boy, we used to sit on this team. We've never lost to them in the Coliseum. Here's our prime cut, and the Titans try to remember. Steve McNair trying to tie Warren Moon most wins at quarterback in franchise history. You're looking to like this one. It's a military play. Byron Leftwich, George Reister. Left, right, your left, your right. Touchdown. 7-6 Jaguars. Third quarter, a defensive struggle. Steve McNair. He's going to take it. This is what he does, Tom. Chris Brown runs well, but the tough yards are often still McNair. Same drive, 3rd and 2. How about this? McNair, well, nobody open. Makes a tough run for a first down. But watch the replay. Marcus Stroud hits him, and he's going to get a bruised sternum.
Yeah, right there. You know, we'd like to see him slide, get the yards you need. Today, he had to go get some tough yards, make sure he had the first down. Stroud gets the hit on him, and, you know, he's showing the wear and tear right there.
5.5 minutes ago, Chris Brown, who became the first after 17 games to get 100 yards against the Jaguars, touchdown. He had 101. They lead 12-7. The Titans are going to go for 2. And McNair hurting, overthrows, Derek Mason, and so it remains a 5-point game. You see why Jeff Fisher went for it? They would have been up 7, not 6. It's 12-7. McNair takes the pads off. More on that in a moment. So, Byron Leftwich, who again, the Jags only have 7 points on the board, but that's a dart. Jimmy Smith, 15 yards. Then he uses Fred Taylor, bounces outside, 13 yards, first down, 4th and 1 at the 30. Greg Jones, it's a first down. Jeff Fisher says, wait a minute now. We saw Leftwich lead the Jags to a winning score in the last play of the game in Buffalo. Steve McNair obviously concerned. 46 seconds ago, Leftwich. Incomplete to Jimmy Smith, but Lamont Thompson called for pass interference, Tom.
Yeah, and you take another look at it. Looks like he's trying to get over for the ball. Great job of Jimmy Smith doing that lean forward, drawing attention to the play.
And Tennessee rising up and stopping Fred Taylor. Tick, 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 tick. Fred Taylor, just seconds left. He's in. The Jags lead 13-12. Jack Del Rio says, of course, we go for 2. Leftwich. Everybody has their favorite Williams at receiver, it seems. Reggie Williams. They all wear number 11, too. Catches it. It's 15-12. And so, we've seen the Music City Miracle. But this will answer the question if Drew Bennett is Frank Wycheck, and if any other Titan is Kevin Dyson. The Music City, not going to work. Not going to work. And the Jacksonville Jaguars, who, as we said, 2-9 in their last 11 against this Tennessee team. It's a new Jags team. They go into the Coliseum and win 15-12. And we should say that in this, Steve McNair, bruised sternum, x-rays negative, but he is in the hospital overnight. So, again, he's battered. We hope he'll come back. But meanwhile, the Jaguars, who have scored 35 points in 3 games. Oh, by the way, they've only allowed 28. Which means defense must be doing it, and a knack at the end for Leftwich.
Absolutely. We talked about the guys up front with the Ravens, the offensive line, and Jamal Lewis with the Jaguars. We want to talk about the guys up front on the defensive side of the ball and how they keep people from being able to run. You heard Chris say Chris Brown did get 101 today, but they are going to make it tough on you. The 2 defensive tackles, Marcus Stroud and John Henderson, are going to get the penetration up the middle of the field. They make sure that they make the quarterback uncomfortable, and they allow everybody else to do their job. Again, Stroud and Henderson once again. Here they come. Look at the pressure. Look at the pocket start to collapse immediately. Then the middle linebacker, Mike Peterson, is able to get through and get the sack. And a third play again, it's the same 2 guys. These are 2 huge men, Stroud and Henderson up front. You see them get the penetration. Everybody works off of them. The lane out to the outside, they have do a good job of sealing to the outside, And as long as you have two guys like that, and we've seen it in the past, regardless of the two guys who it is, Ted Washington is one of those guys wherever he goes around the league. Right. But when you have two guys like that and they can seal off the run, stop the run, boy, can you do a lot of things and play a lot of games scheme-wise with your defense.
Well, Jacksonville, we said we'd know more after 2 weeks with them. Win at Tennessee, home next week to Indianapolis. But
that's a test.
The Jags are 3-0.
That's right.
When we return at NFL Primetime. LaDainian Tomlinson, boy, San Diego rarely wins in Denver. Would this be a day for an upset? Marty would certainly like to win in that building. And the Lions. We know Roy Williams, this rookie, has plenty of game, but the Eagles might have had a little more.
It's a rematch of Super Bowl 37. Bucs Raiders on Sunday Night Football as John Gruden makes his return to the Coliseum. But he's not the only famous face trading places. Tim Brown, Mr. Raider for 16 years, is now a Buck. Tonight, he goes for touchdown catch number 100. And Warren Sapp, a Buck for 9 years, is now a Raider. Raider Nation is going crazy. Sunday Night Football after prime time.
Chevrolet Fantasy Ticker is brought to you by the new Chevrolets. 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months. An American Revolution.
The only game between 2-0 teams on this day, the Philadelphia Eagles against the surprising Detroit Lions. They're the Eagles up their Monday night win, first road game of the year in Mooch. Steve Mariucci has the Lions playing good ball, and there's Gumby. No, it's Terrell Owens. Early on. How about McNabb buying time? L.J. Smith and the big tight end, 25 yards, first down. Then Donovan McNabb, a sneak, 7-0 Philadelphia, putting the hammer down on the young team early. 3rd and 10 Detroit. Joey Harrington. And just looks like, it's a fumble. Broderick Hood falls on it. Harrington just not careful with the ball, and that opens it up for McNabb. And what does a good team do, Tom, after a young team turns it over? Right after the jugular, right?
Right after him.
First play to T.O., 29 yards, just like that, 14-0 Philadelphia. T.O. with the salute, and they would salute their little back from Villanova, Brian Westbrook. Look at he takes the hit, bounces back, and goes forward 23 yards all the way to the 1. And that sets up McNabb to one of his 3 tight ends. That's Mike Bartram.
And he does that as well as anybody in the league, that throwing back behind you. They say it's a cardinal sin, but he's able to do it and complete it, especially down in the red zone.
We're going to make a judgment, Tom, for Detroit. Roy Williams, their rookie receiver, another guy wearing number 11. This just in. He's good. We're convinced. Williams, 18-yard catch on 13 and 9. And then in the prevent defense in the last 2 minutes of the half, Harrington to Williams. And then Harrington to Williams, touchdown. Williams, 63 yards of catches on the drive, 21-7 Philly at the half. But back we go, Philadelphia. Did they let Detroit get close? No, they did not. Playing like a team that understood the big picture. McNabb to T.O. 55 yards, sets up a David Akers field goal from Louisville. Good, 30-7 Philly. Lions not done. Guess who they go to? Harrington, Roy Williams, watch this. And then forget it. And then it's a touchdown. 29 yards, they go for 2, no good. Lions, another shot to try to get close. Ty Streets incomplete in the end zone as Harrington, and Philadelphia put Steve Mariucci's Lions. Well, look, he knew that it would be uphill, and it was. Philadelphia, very impressive. 30-13 they win. Donovan McNabb threw for 356 yards, 6 balls to T.O., 8 different Eagles caught passes, 7 of them caught for 2 and more. Big picture of this game, Tom. This was a team, Philadelphia, on a short week on the road that said, you know what? Detroit is a very capable team.
Up and coming.
Let's get on them. Let's get on them early on offense, on defense, and even on special teams. Detroit had 2 touchdowns the first 2 games. Harbaugh's heroes did a job until late in the game, too. So they knew let's take them out of the game early. They did it.
And the Philadelphia Eagles have a different look to them, and maybe T.O. is the guy who has keyed all of this. He came in, he's made all the other receivers better. He certainly is a new toy to Donovan McNabb. And the one concern I had about defensively, how would they play the run? Well, here's the way it's starting to play out. It's starting to play out as we score a lot of points. Therefore, you can't run the ball a lot. You have to start throwing the football in order to keep up with us. So this one thing that we might not do really well won't be that bad because we're going to put the pressure on you to do certain things that you've never had to do against us.
Very impressive.
Yes,
Detroit
absolutely.
a little over their heads at this point against Philadelphia, and the Eagles made them think that, but Detroit's going places, and we know Philadelphia is going places once again. Here we go. San Diego at Denver. Marty Schottenheimer, don't have to tell him about what life is like in Denver when he comes in with the squad. Jake Plummer to Rod Smith, and in the first few minutes of the game, it's 32 yards. Same possession, Bronx on the 16, and Plummer to Smith again, and he's going to cut upfield and touchdown. 7-0 B-Men. San Diego has a very special player, LaDainian Tomlinson. Al Wilson, though, was on the patrol.
I said that Al Wilson, I thought, would have a good day. He loves to play the interior run, and LaDainian loves to run the ball inside.
Next play, the tricky Chargers. Tomlinson going to throw it. Breeze as receiver. What a play! 38 yards, even a stiff arm from the QB. You know, Denver is, won 3 in their last 21 San Diego has in that building. But all of a sudden, Quentin Griffin fumbles on a catch. Chargers recover. Quentin, 12 rushes, 7 yards. Drew Brees, quarterback, said, wait, we got a game here. San Diego's within 13-10, second quarter. Now, here we go, 4th down Bronx. Micah Noor punts it. Kasim Osgood going to run into him. And roughing the kicker. That's hurt, too. Roughing the kicker. And so the Broncos get a first down. It's 4th and 9. It's Ichabod Crane. No, it's Ashley LeLay, the headless horseman. It's a touchdown. Plummer throws it. They beat Quentin Jammer, who had a bad ankle, and the Broncos tested it here.
Yeah, and Ashley really has started to catch the football the way they thought he would earlier in his career. He has come on to be the receiver that the Broncos always thought he would.
So the Broncos win at 23-13, despite the fact, Tom, they didn't run very well.
37 yards rushing for the Denver Broncos. Certainly a game that they needed. They win it at home, but you would not want to see that stat or that kind of stat repeated, a similar stat repeated very often this year for the Denver Broncos.
Here's what Mike Shanahan will like, holding Tomlinson only 60 yards.
Absolutely, rush defense.
For almost 300 yards. San Diego, though, game, but in Denver, it's uphill for them. When we return, Randy Moss and the Vikings at home against the Bears, and the fun game of the day. And you knew it would be. Peyton Manning, Brett Favre putting on a superior show in the Colts home opener at Indy. Warren Sapp was a Buck, now a Bucks at Raiders. Sunday Night Football, bottom of the hour.
Welcome back to NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite.
The Seattle Seahawks have already won 2 road games this year, as many as they've won all last year. This is their home opener where they're undefeated last year. Sean Alexander and the Seahawks toying with the San Francisco 49ers. A 2-yard plunge for him. 10-0 Seahawks first quarter. Still first, Ken Dorsey. Cedric Woodard in his face. It's a sack, it's a fumble, and it's a Seahawk ball. Seattle now at the 4. Matt Hasselbeck, play action. Sean Alexander wide open. 17-0 Seahawks. Second quarter now. Todd Peterson lining up a field goal from 47. Doink! It's no good. Why did we show it? We'll tell you in a moment. Just over a minute to go in the second quarter. Alexander. He turns the corner. Alexander's ragtime band. Second time in 3 games. He's got 3 touchdowns in 1 game, Tom. 24-0 Seahawks. Dorsey to the end zone. But Ken Hamlin is there in the double coverage to make the pick. And the Seahawks slice and dice. Their old coach, Dennis Erickson, 34-0. Why is the shutout significant? Because for the first time since October 9th, 1977, 420 games, The proud 49ers have been shut out. On that day, neither Scott Bull nor Jim Plunkett could lead them into the end zone. Tom, what's going on in 2 straight weeks?
Well, this is different. You look at a week ago, Jerry Rice's 20-year reception streak broken. Now they're shut out. First time in 27 years we've seen the end of those 49ers as we knew them.
Oh, by the way, the headline, Seattle has a chance to run away with this division. Brian Urlacher out Sunday, pulled hamstring, first time in his NFL career. He's missed a game. Randy Moss, Vikings, ready for the Bears, Tom, and the Bears are ready to get physical with them.
Well, R.W. McQuarters got Randy Moss's attention, and this is what happens when you get his attention. He comes out and he begins to make plays. There's the first catch against McQuarters in tight coverage. Then down around the end zone, Randy Moss is telling the quarterback, throw me the football. So the lesson learned here, just play football, stay away from Randy Moss and getting him excited about playing.
And that's his friend who he comes to the games with, and he gives him a ball at 7-6 Vikings. Meanwhile, Morton Anderson, 2 field goals. Oh, by the way, he's now played 341 NFL games, breaking the record held by George Blanda. Congratulations to Morton Anderson, forever young. Dante Culpepper, about it, 44 yards to Randy Moss. That catch.
And what a great catch. He actually stopped, reached out and caught the ball so that he could have a chance to make a move on the defense.
Big day for Ontario Smith, bouncing out, bouncing in, running almost all the way to Manitoba. Does Ontario. 94 yards rushing, 104 yards receiving, setting up a Culpepper run, 17-6 Vikes. It's 29, fourth quarter. Rex Grossman, the Bears hung with this, Tom. This is a good-looking player, just engaged. Down to the 1. Next play, big game for Thomas Jones again. Jones 110 yards rushing, 71 receiving. Bears touchdown. They missed the 2-point conversion, 20-15. Vikes. First play, though, back for them. Culpepper to Nate Burleson. What? I'm not down. What? I'm fast. 63 yards. Culpepper threw for 360. Later in the drive, 3rd and goal. Culpepper, Moss, Flair, touchdown. Guess what? 2 balls in the same
That's
play.
great. That's
nice?
great.
27-15, the Vikes. But the Bears aren't done. Rex Grossman, scrambling. Can they get in? Loses the ball. Grossman, unfortunately for him and the Bears, had to be carted off. Sprained knee. It looked worse for a while. Thought something might be broken. He didn't around to see the Bears challenge. Ball broke the plane. It was a touchdown for Lovie Smith, so it's 27-22. Bears have a chance here, but Jonathan Quinn, the medicine man, sacked by Kevin Williams, and the Vikings win 27-22. Culpepper, Ontario Smith, Moss, some of the stars. Minnesota doing what they usually do at home and score points.
Yeah, outstanding balance, and boy, is Dante Culpepper putting up the numbers thus far this year.
And now, for the most fun we've had in a while, Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers, 192 straight starts. Peyton Manning with 99 straight starts. You're not going to catch him. Not going to catch him anytime soon. Meanwhile, Manning and Favre, you might catch him in the touchdown pass on this one day, because Manning to Reggie Wayne, the stately Wayne Manor. Colts in their home opener. Watch Manning. Back, Packers blitz. Someone's going to be open. Rodney Harrison, 19 yards. Manning. Reggie Wayne. Boy, has he become a big-time number 2 receiver. 36 yards, 7-0. We're not even 2 minutes in the game. Packers trail 7-0 now. Favre. Donald Duke and the driver. 14 yards. That sets up. Brett. Javon Walker. 36 yards. Game on. 7-7. We're only, just 6-7 minutes in the game. Both have thrown touchdown passes. Peyton and Marvin talking on the sideline. Well, what could it be about? Maybe this. Oh, man, 28 yards, 14-7 Colts. But right away, first Packer play from scrimmage. Favre, game still on. This is shades of Namath and Unitas in 1972. 79 yards, game time at 14. Next position, Colts. Manning, Harrison, 12 yards. Then Manning, play action to Edgerrin, to Wayne, 16 yards. That sets up Manning to Brandon Stokely, touchdown. 34 yards, 21-14.
And you find Manning here reading the blitz. He knows that he's going to get single coverage with Stokely on the safety, runs inside, breaks it out. No team has better timing in that one-on-one coverage than Manning and his wide receivers.
Second quarter. By the way, it's just the second quarter, we should say. It's already 21-14. Edger and James, first running play in the game, and it took a quarter. Manning, Stokely, and in the 2 minutes into the second quarter, 28-14, they've outscored Atlanta, Arizona, and Jacksonville, Tennessee for the entire game.
Marvin Harrison here on the inside. His defender shuts off the Green Bay defender, allows Stokely to get to the outside. You make the guys pick their own men to get your receiver open.
And Stokely had another bomb go off his face mask. He'd have even more yards, but no matter. Manning to Wayne, 25 yards, setting up Manning. In the summertime, James Monroe Jerry, touchdown, 35-17 Peyton, 5 touchdown passes, 320 yards in the first half. Now, Favre says, wait a minute, here's Javon Walker, 35-24. You know, Brett wouldn't back down, 38-24. Favre, Donald Driver, 35-31. Oh, my goodness gracious, 38-31. Then, Packers ball, Favre drops back, he gets kicked in the hamstring, the tightness in the hamstring. He had to go out, but not yet. Favre completes a pass to Walker, but Jason David strips him. Nicholas Harper, who's Johnny on the spot, falls on the ball. Ensuing Colts possession. You don't expect him not to score, do you? A short blast for Edger and James. Brett says, I threw 4 TD passes. Peyton threw 5. The two of them combined 9 TDs, no touchdowns. 9 TDs, no interceptions. And the Colts, 45-31. Another dome loss for Brett, but I mean, they scored 30. Hey, did the Colts look any good to you?
I think that we're starting to see, and we talked about it early in the show, that separation between the top-tier team that we haven't seen New England, once in it seems like a month. But the two top teams in this conference, you're looking at them in Indy and New England, and you look at Philly and Seattle, and you see those 4 teams that you've got to shoot at. You see those 4 teams.
Yep, and boy, Indianapolis goes to Jacksonville next week. That'll be an interesting.
And Jacksonville, oh, by the way, is undefeated.
By the way, Favre and Manning, you can watch it for the rest of your life. When we return, game balls, prime performers. There were many. We'll dissect.
NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite. Grab yourself a great-tasting low-carb Miller Lite. And in part by Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. Get ready for the game.
Boomer, my game ball goes to Donovan McNabb, and boy, are the Eagles on track, and he is their leader. You just start looking at the numbers. It's utterly ridiculous. 29 of 42, 356 yards, 2 touchdowns passing. His main man, T.O., right there, and 1 rushing, and they look absolutely unstoppable right now.
8 different guys. How about 5 touchdown passes in the first half? What's the matter, Peyton? You couldn't throw any in the second half? 393 yards. A change of the game against the Chiefs in the playoffs. Like all the games he played in the playoffs, just about. Peyton Manning gets my game ball. The Colts, the McNabb, and the Eagles, these are 2 of the teams that are really flying. So another observation. Remember, I said the Seahawks might come away with the division?
Seahawks 3-0.
Rest of Division 1-8. Seahawks off next week. That was fun watching.
That was fun. That was a good game.
It's always fun with you, Tom. The most hated guy, voted by the former Raider opponents.
I cherish that.
Thanks for watching. All right, Pat, thank you very much. You had a touchdown in that game, so 13-6, the Raiders on top of the Black Hole. Another Sunday night game because of Hurricane Gene ripping through Florida. Again, another hurricane in Florida. We showed you the field goal by Reed that gave Pittsburgh a 3-0 lead in the first quarter at Miami. Now this. And if you look up in Webster's dictionary the word quagmire, this is how it would be. This is Baron Haynes, not Reigns, actually running. And then look at this pass by Ben Roethlisberger making his first career start. And whoop! You talk about a duck. Ducks are on the pond. Roethlisberger, not bad. That's the scene at halftime. Pittsburgh leads 3-0. Miami, 54 yards. That's just 40 more than letters in the last name of the Steelers starting quarterback. We'll keep you posted in the second half. Now our fastest 3 minutes. A game at the other end of the spectrum. The battle of masters, Peyton Manning and Brett Favre. Manning, Brandon Stokely. Peyton had 5 TDs first half. Favre to Donald Driver. The pack closed at 38-31. Of all things, a 1-yard run ends it. We'll have more in this game in a moment. 45-31, the Colts win in their home opener. Both guys throwing way over 300 yards. Donovan McNabb to Terrell Owens. 29-yard touchdown. And in a battle of 2-0s, the Philadelphia Eagles get the win in Detroit. 30-13, McNabb outstanding. 356 yards. The Eagles were outstanding every phase of the game. The 3-0 now, Jacksonville Jaguars. First had to watch Chris Brown go for 26 yards, and the Titans led Jacksonville 12-7. But a late drive by Byron Leftwich again. Pass interference in the 1 by Lamont Thompson on Jimmy Smith. Fred Taylor touchdown. Jags win at Tennessee 15-12. Break them up. Arizona trying to snap a 14-game losing streak on the road. Carl the Truth Williams fumbles. 2.5 minutes to go in Atlanta. And the Falcons, Mike Vick, who was not an artistic success. This run was Atlanta's 3-0. They beat Arizona 6-3. Seahawks against the 49ers get not 1, not 2, but 3 touchdowns from Sean Alexander. San Francisco shut out for the first time since October of 77. Seahawks win 34-0. They're 3-0. Mark Folger runs right up the middle for a touchdown to put the Rams ahead 25-22. But the Saints in regulation with a field goal from John Carney. And then in overtime, John Carney, Sheila McCray. Good night, everybody. The Saints beat the Rams 28-25 in OT. Bears at the Vikings. Dante Culpepper to Randy Moss. A little 3-yarder. And then Dante Culpepper to Moss again. Culpepper threw for 360. Vikings beat the Bears 27-22. Chargers at the Broncos. The House of Horrors, the City of Horrors for San Diego. They are 3-18 in their last 21. They're on 4th and 9. Jake Plummer to Ashley LeLay. He's Ichabod Crane. The Broncos win 23-13. Jamal Lewis. And Lewis, the 2,000-yard back of a year ago, has 75 here as the Ravens beat Cincinnati 23-9. Kurt Warner hadn't won a game in 3 years. Now he's won 2 in 2 weeks. Touchdown Giants beat the Browns 27-10. Texans and Chiefs. Loser would be 0-3. David Card and Jabbar Gaffney, usually known for the skyhook, tied at 21. Chris Brown, 49-yarder. Good. And the Chiefs, who started last year 9-0, are now 0-3. Texans with the upset 24-21.
This halftime show is presented by Toyota. Get the feeling.
When we return the baseball pennant races, Barry Bonds and the Giants against the Dodgers, and talk about lighting it up, Peyton and Brett.
Welcome back to the Toyota Halftime Show with your host, Chris Berman.
Baseball pennant time, Dodgers at the Giants. For battle atop the NL West, Barry, U.S. Bonds off Jeff Weber, sends it back. Gone. Homer number 703, 45 this year. The Giants lead 3-2. But the Dodgers take the lead as Sean Green a walk as Torres scores. Brett Tomko had lost since July 29th, but the Dodgers lead 4-3. And then it was this day for the Giants. Marquise Grissom. Oh boy. Green's going to score, and the Dodgers go into San Francisco and take 2 and 3. They win 7-4. Meanwhile, the Mets shock the Cubs again, 3-2 behind Al Leiter beating Kerry Wood. Leiter's first win in 6 weeks, and so in the West, the Giants 3 back in the loss column. They do end the year at LA, but they have work to do. The Dodgers now in control. Cubs by a half over the Giants, 1.5 over Houston, who won, 2.5 over San Diego, who won. Meanwhile, Boston returns the favor of last weekend, win big twice at Fenway over the Yanks today, 11-4 over Kevin Brown Schilling, excellent through 7-1, hit magic number remains 4. And game on ESPN2, Mulder knocked out, Angels lead the A's 4-2, that's in the 7th. Meanwhile, the West, that means as we play, Oakland lead over Anaheim, could go down to 1, but right now they lead them by 2, and Texas by 2.5, a week to go in the Wild Wild West. Back with Heroes in a moment. Jets at Colts. the young master Joe Willie Namath, the white shoes, against the old master Johnny Unitas. And they decided, let's just throw it. Unitas here hitting Tom Matty, 376 yards, 2 TDs. But Namath threw 6 touchdown passes, 3 to Richard Castor right here, including an 80 and a 79-yarder. Namath threw for 496 on just 15 completions. So think of that, and here we are 30-plus years later. Manning, the young master, to Reggie Wayne, the veteran master, Brett Favre, to Javon Walker. Game on early at Indy. Manning to Marvin Harrison. 16 seconds later. Well, then Favre threw one. Then Manning to Brandon Stokely. You get the drift. Manning for 393 and 5 TDs. Favre for 358 and 4 TDs. Namath and Unitas. Manning and Favre. 30-plus years apart. Memories to last a lifetime. Kerry Collins to Ronald Curry, our touchdown. Oakland leads Tampa Bay 13-6 at the half.